Episode 1 reveals that Nova Prime recruits Nebula to join the Nova Corps following Ronan the Accuser's successful coup against Thanos. 5 years later, after Xander is sealed off from the universe to protect itself from Ronan's forces, Nebula discovers the body of Yondu Udanta and receives orders from Nova Prime to investigate. She learns that Yondu located the codes to open the planetary shield and enlists Kree soldier Yon Rog to infiltrate the Nova Corps mainframe to destroy them. Yon Rog betrays her, revealing that he and Nova Prime plan to give up Xander to Ronan. Nebula survives an execution attempt by Nova Prime's men, subsequently enlisting casino owner Howard the Duck and his subordinates Groot and Korg to stop Nova Prime. During their fight, Nebula reveals she realized Nova Prime's defection when she assigned the mission to her and altered the code so that the shield would close again as the Dark Aster enters Xander, destroying the ship and killing Ronan. Nova Prime tries to escape but ultimately falls to her death. The shield reopens as Nebula prepares to continue defending Xander. Episode 2 picks up in 1988. The Ravagers take Peter Quill to Ego, who urges him to help his expansion across the universe. 6 months later, after ravaging several worlds, Quill returns to Earth. In response, Peggy Carter and Howard Stark assemble a team composed of Bill Foster, King T'Chaka of Wakanda, Bucky Barnes, Dr. Wendy Lawson, and a reluctant Hank Pym, who brings his daughter Hope Van Dyne along. After a scuffle on Coney Island, the team detains Quill with help from Thor. As the team discusses their next move, Van Dyne frees Quill, who travels to Missouri. As T'Chaka, Foster, and Thor aid Carter's forces in holding back Ego, Pym and Lawson encounter Quill visiting his mother's grave, and a sympathetic Pym convinces him to stand against his father. Barnes, under the influence of his manipulators, prepares to assassinate Quill until Stark reminds him of his best friend, Steve Rogers. Just as Ego overwhelms the heroes and attempts to obtain his seed, Pym and Quill arrive in time to stop him, with the latter using the seed to destroy Ego's avatar form. The team, minus Barnes, celebrates their victory before setting out to confront Ego's planetary form. On Christmas Eve, Happy Hogan is assigned to oversee security in the Avengers Tower for an annual holiday party, until Justin Hammer and his henchmen Sergei and Rusty break out of prison and lay siege to the tower for Tony Stark's technology and Bruce Banner's Hulk blood sample, with Maria Hill injured attempting to apprehend Hammer. Attempting to save the Hulk blood sample, Hogan is accidentally injected with it, causing him to slowly transform into a purple Hulk-like monster, though he manages to retain his intelligence. With the Avengers busy with the Christmas parties and Jarvis inactive, Hogan contacts Darcy Lewis, who is tasked to find an AI to reboot the tower system. Just as Hammer, Sergei, and Rusty have Lewis and Hill hostage, a fully transformed Hogan confronts him and destroys the hijacked Iron Legion probes. Hammer takes control of Stark's Hulkbuster armor, but Hogan defeats him before the Avengers arrive. As Hammer is taken into custody, Hogan is praised for his efforts as he and the Avengers resume their Christmas party before Thor arrives and wonders what he missed. In 2012, Tony Stark saves New York by redirecting a nuclear missile towards the Chitauri mothership, but the wormhole closes before he can return to Earth. Stark crash lands on Sakaar and is forced to stay by its ruler, the Grandmaster. Stark interferes in a death race to save one of the racers, Korg, and encounters Gamora, who was sent by Thanos to kill Stark for stopping the Chitauri. The Grandmaster's chief enforcer, Topaz, imprisons Gamora and Stark. Stark escapes, but upon learning of Gamora's purpose, decides to save Sakaar from the Grandmaster. Stark recruits Korg and Valkyrie, builds a new Iron Man suit, and challenges the Grandmaster to a race for the title of Sakaar's ruler. The Grandmaster uses numerous cheating methods, but Stark ultimately wins the race. Valkyrie crashes into Topaz to save Stark's life, causing her staff to hit and melt the Grandmaster. After Valkyrie is crowned King of Sakaar, Stark joins Gamora in confronting Thanos. Having convinced by Iron Man to forge her own path rather than live in her father's shadow, Gamora kills him with Topaz's staff. In a mid-credit scene, the still-alive Grandmaster begs Topaz to collect his puddle form. After Surtur destroys Asgard during Ragnarok, the Tesseract crash lands in a lake in the Haudenosaunee Confederacy in pre-colonial America, giving it magical properties. Numerous tribespeople disappeared while interacting with the lake, which became known as the Forbidden Lake. In the late 15th century, a young Mohawk woman, Kahori, and her brother Wata are hunted by Spanish conquistadors who have ransacked their village in search of the Fountain of Youth. While hiding inside a cave, Wata is captured and Kahori is shot, causing her to fall into the lake and be teleported to another dimension, where she is nursed back to health by fellow Mohawk people. Atarix, a villager, explains that the missing tribespeople were teleported to the Sky World, where they gained powers and immortality, but were unable to return home. As Kahori familiarizes herself with her powers, the conquistadors enter the lake, believing it to be the fountain, and invade. Kahori stops them and forces the portal in the sky to the ground and returns home. She and the villagers defeat the conquistadors, rescue her people, and later force Queen Isabella to make peace. Doctor Strange Supreme appears from a portal and says he has been searching for Kahori. Growing weary of Hela's bloodlust in the Nine Realms, Odin banishes her to Earth and strips her powers by destroying Mjolnir and placing an enchantment on her crown. Hela lands in medieval China and is confronted by the armies of Shu Wenwu. She attempts to retrieve the crown but fails. Wenwu keeps Hela alive and tries to recruit her to his army, but Hela escapes his fortress after failing to steal his 10 rings. She is guided by a Hundun to the realm of Ta Lo, where she convinces their leader, Jai Yi, to let her join their cause. Jai Yi teaches Hela the techniques of Ta Lo after she recognizes her true desire for freedom from control. After Heimdall reports his failure to locate Hela, Odin visits Earth to battle Wenwu in retaliation. Hela joins Wenwu and fights against Odin, ultimately winning and regaining her worthiness to wield her crown. Odin recognizes Hela's growth and submits Asgard's throne to her. Hela unites the armies of Asgard in Wenwu's 10 Rings organization and embarks on a journey to ensure freedom across the 9 realms and beyond, coming to the rescue of Gamora's people as Thanos attacks them. Captain Peggy Carter and Natasha Romanoff find Steve Rogers inside the Hydra Stomper armor aboard the Lemurian Star, but he attacks them. A briefing with Nick Fury leads Romanoff to deduce that Rogers, who went missing in 1953, was brainwashed by the Red Room. Carter and Romanoff help Brock Rumlow protect Bucky Barnes from Rogers before incapacitating him and traveling to a secret hideout in Scotland. They learn the suit is keeping Rogers alive, and each activation reduces chances of survival. Rogers offers to help Carter take down the Red Room in hopes of finding a cure before escorting them to a former KGB site. They are ambushed by drones, and Rogers' brainwashing is reactivated by Melina Vostokov, who staged the earlier events. Carter battles Rogers, while Romanoff fends off Vostokov's Black Widows. After Carter pleads with him to stop fighting, Rogers flies towards the Red Room and destroys it. Romanoff fires her grappling hook to latch onto him and ties it to Vostokov, who dies in the explosion. Later, Carter prepares to find Rogers, but a portal opens beneath her feet and transports her to another universe, where she encounters Renaissance-era variants of Fury and Wanda Maximoff. After arriving in the Renaissance-themed universe in 1602, Captain Carter agrees to help Wanda Merlin and Sir Nicholas Fury stop an impending incursion. She saves Prince Loki from being pulled into a tear, but fails to save Queen Hela and is hunted by Sir Harold, the Happy Hogan, under the new King Thor's orders. Carter learns the incursion is occurring due to the presence of the Forerunner, another time-displaced individual. She locates Tony Stark, who can make a device to identify the Forerunner using the Time Stone in Thor's scepter. He points her towards outlaws Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes, and Scott Lang to help steal it. After meeting the group attempting to rob Loki, Carter joins them at a pub. Ambushed by Hogan, Carter gives herself up before freeing herself and a masked Bruce Banner. They meet with Stark and join Rogers' group in infiltrating Thor's courtroom. With Wanda's help, the group retrieves the Time Stone for Stark's device. It identifies Rogers as the Forerunner, who had inadvertently created the temporal anomaly while battling Thanos. Carter bids farewell to Rogers and returns him to his universe, preventing the incursion. Returning to the pub alone, she is met by Strange Supreme. Strange Supreme takes Captain Carter to his Sanctum Infinitum, where he reveals that he has been capturing universe killers to atone for his sins. Strange asks Carter to capture an escaped variant, who fled to a universe where Hydra used the Tesseract to destroy the world. Carter agrees and encounters Kahori, who reveals that Strange had actually been capturing heroes and villains to feed to the Forge, a contraption which can resurrect his lost universe. As Strange attempts to kill Kahori, Carter frees the variants who fight each other, allowing her and Kahori to escape. They run into Black Panther Killmonger, who Kahori separates from his armor, allowing Carter to use it. While Carter and Kahori battle Strange at the Forge, the variants lend their weapons to Carter while Kahori sends them home. Strange is taken over by his demonic self, though Carter separates them. As the Forge collapses, Strange sacrifices himself and his counterpart to it. The Watcher returns Kahori home and brings Carter to Strange's restored universe, though Strange himself would never be reborn and a new Christine Palmer exists in it. Carter asks the Watcher to show her the multiverse before taking her home. The Watcher proceeds to show her Yggdrasil, the multiversal tree,